Middle Tennessee's only primetime news. Fox 17 News at 9.
And we begin tonight with breaking news in Antioch. That's where Metro Police are investigating an officer-involved shooting. Fox 17's Sky Arnold is live at the scene. Sky?
Well, guys, a lot of things going on behind me. I want you to look just directly behind me. There are officers still out here on the scene investigating. It's creating a few headaches, if you will, for folks that live in the area. We can see just a little bit over here. They've got officers blocking the street heading into Cambridge Forest. They are not allowing residents inside here as they continue their investigation into this shooting. Now, if we can get just a quick zoom into sort of what's happening down there behind me, you can see the officers still investigating the apartment. Again, it's on Bridge Crest Drive. Here's what we know about what happened. Police got a call a little bit earlier this evening from the daughter of Pamela Hutcherson. That daughter said that the mother was apparently threatening suicide. They tell us that she apparently fired a shot in the house at a dog. There was a 3-year-old upstairs. When officers arrived, then things turned a little scary. Police tell us that Miss Hutcherson pointed the gun at officers, and it's at that point that they opened fire, shooting her. Now, we don't know how many times she was shot. We do know that she was taken to a local hospital, and she just got out of surgery within the last hour or so. We're told her condition at this point is critical. Don't have a lot of other details on this case. We've been told that Ms. Hutcherson did suffer from mental issues. We're not sure what role that may have played in all of this, but bottom line, a scary evening for 2 officers who arrived at the scene, and again, we're told they had a gun pointed at them, and that's when they opened fire. We're live in Antioch. Sky Arnold, Fox 17 News.
All right, switching gears now. Here is a look at the snow and ice storm that hit Huntsville, Alabama tonight. It is round 1 of what will be a major storm for folks in the south during the next couple of days. Now, it might not look like a lot of snow, but the slick conditions forced crews to shut down Chapman Mountain Highway.
Well, the big question right now, how much of that severe weather will make its way here to Middle Tennessee? And joining us with more on that, our Chief Skywatch meteorologist, Katie Morgan.
Yeah, and it doesn't take much, right?
It doesn't.
We all know
No.
it does not take much to create a lot of problems, and that's going to be, again, what we're dealing with over the next 24 to 36 hours. So we are looking at a winter storm warning now in effect for some of our counties, along with a winter weather advisory, and you can see that on our map now. Purple counties indicating that winter weather advisory, and we are looking at some minor snow accumulation in those purple highlighted counties. As you head towards the pink counties, that is a winter storm warning that is in effect from tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. until Thursday morning, 6 a.m. Purple counties, same time frame here. So this is going to be a very early morning event along the Tennessee and Alabama border, and all of that wintry precipitation will head our way as we go throughout the afternoon hours tomorrow. Notice that Nashville and Davidson County not included in this advisory here. In fact, a good chunk of our viewing area not included in the advisory. It is south and east, and that is going to be where our focus is as we head through the morning for tomorrow and throughout the afternoon as well. Here's a look at the radar satellite picture, and you can see at the very bottom of your screen a few specks of snowflakes here, a massive amount of energy and a lot of moisture coming out of the Gulf of Mexico that is producing round number 2 of wintry weather here for the deep south. Southern parts of Arkansas, northern parts of Mississippi, and into Alabama already seeing that rain, snow, and sleet mixture. I think we begin to see some of this activity as early as tomorrow morning. Temperatures now in the 30s. We check out the timing on this here. Again, south, right around the Alabama border. We'll look as early as 6 a.m. to see the snow moving in. By 9 o'clock, it inches north and further north by noon here. Nashville, I think, getting right on the tip of this storm system here. So coming up, we'll have a look at snowfall, how much you can expect in your neighborhood, and how about a big warm up? That's to talk about too this weekend. All the details in my next Skywatch forecast.
Thank you, Katie. Of course, we'll have much more on this storm system. Katie mentioned she'll be back in a few minutes with more on the storm track and the timing. Plus, our crews will be monitoring the storm overnight and have the very latest predictions for you starting at 5 a.m. on Fox 17 this morning.
A task force of state and local agencies is working around the clock to figure out what caused a deadly explosion in Wilson County. And tonight, we are learning more about the victims, John Setzer, who was killed in the attack, and his wife, Mary Ann, who was critically injured. Fox 17's Erica Lathan joins us live from the scene now in Lebanon with the very latest tonight. Erica.
Well, Stacy, we can tell you it's been an active crime scene here for most of the day. Things have settled down a bit tonight, but you can still see those flashing lights in the distance. Officers are keeping this property completely secured overnight. We're told that the Setzers moved into their home where this explosion occurred sometime around 2005 after retiring and moving here from Nashville. Now, tonight we talked to some of those who knew this couple, and they're still in shock that anyone would want to hurt them. Teresa Barlow is in shock over what happened to fellow church members John and Marion Setzer.
I was dumbfounded. I just could not believe it. It was like, oh, no, this is not real.
Investigators say a package delivered to the Setzers' home on Vance Lane exploded Monday around 5 p.m.
Anytime you have an explosion like this, yes, it's a bizarre case. And like they said, we're trying to get the investigation completed as far as the crime scene, different things like that, before we were able to release any information as that.
The Sheriff's Department, along with the TBI, ATF, FBI, and State Fire Marshal, are investigating, but are being tight-lipped about details of the explosion, including whether or not the Setzers were targeted.
We're not saying this is isolated, but we're also not wanting the public to panic. What we want to say is carry that safety message. If you receive something that is suspicious, that's not expected, make those phone calls. Let us come make sure that you don't have an issue.
Friends say John was a retired Nashville attorney who began practicing law in 1974. He and his wife moved to Lebanon 6 or 7 years ago and were active members of Lebanon First United Methodist Church.
A retired attorney and his wife, and they've really been involved and active in the church since they've been here. Marion always seemed to have a smile on her face, very soft word for everybody. John was a Sunday school teacher, taught in his Sunday school class. So I don't get it.
Teresa says members are doing their best to comfort one another and, of course, sending prayers and well wishes to Marion.
How much we love her, and we're there for her. She's given so much to us, and it's time for us to give to her and her family.
Tonight, authorities are offering an $8,000 reward for information leading to an arrest in this case. Anyone with information is being urged to call 1-800-TBI-FIND. That's 1-800-TBI-FIND. We're live in Wilson County. Erica Lathan, Fox 17 News.
An update now on the deadly shooting that we told you about last night is breaking news in Madison. Detectives say that Jamal Saunders, who you see there on the left of your screen, was killed during some sort of a shootout on Berwick Trail. Now, during that shooting, Govando Bedingfield there on the right was also shot but wasn't seriously hurt. The cause of this shooting is still under investigation. Both Saunders and Bedingfield, according to police, are convicted felons with violent criminal histories. We also have an update for you right now on those massage parlor arrests that happened during several raids in parts of Nashville yesterday. The suspects are accused of using the parlors as fronts for prostitution. They are all expected to face a judge on Friday.
A big vote by the Metro School Board tonight impacts hundreds of students. School board members approved a plan to expand pre-kindergarten. Now, both Ross and Bordeaux elementary schools will host model pre-K learning centers. The centers will eventually offer nearly 500 students the chance to get a jump start on learning.
I think it's kind of cool too that it'll be a full-day program. Yeah. So it'll be it's a different take on regular pre-K. So I think it'll be pretty exciting.
School board members say the expanded pre-K will cost $2 million. The plan means some students will be rezoned. The model pre-K learning centers will open for the 2014-2015 school year. Rutherford County schools are considering rezoning tonight. Officials there say overcrowding at Oakland Middle caused them to consider some options. The school's maximum enrollment size is 850 to 1,000 students, and the current enrollment more than 1,100. The board will discuss the proposal again on February 26th.
Now, Joliet police have a warning for Jeep owners tonight. Keep an eye on your tires. They say there has been a rash of spare tire thefts in recent weeks. The thieves, they say, are targeting Jeep Wranglers that have rear-mounted full spare tires. Nearly a dozen thefts have been reported so far. The crooks are targeting the Jeeps in shopping area parking lots. Police tonight are suggesting tire locks to keep the crooks from getting your tires.
Well, in tonight's Fox 17 Waste Watch report, thousands of dollars that could have been used to help students must now be paid to the IRS. Tennessee Watchdog reports school leaders in Hawkins County failed to notify the IRS of certain payroll deposits. So once they found the error, the IRS charged the Hawkins County School District nearly $170,000 in late fees and penalties.
A bill to allow wine sales in grocery stores is closer than ever before to passing. We'll tell you about the one potential hurdle that actually could still stop it.
And right now we're tracking the system that will bring us wintry weather for tomorrow. I'll break down snow totals in my next Skywatch forecast.
Fox 17 Sky Arnold tonight to take a look at one potential roadblock that still lies ahead.
Looking for a Valentine? This week I'm matching people up with the car of their dreams through my Meet Your...
The tourist spot, the Yazoo.
But wine is a different story.
That is one thing I do not know much about.
This HG Hill manager may need to start studying soon.
The ayes have it goes to county rules.
That committee vote sent a bill allowing wine and grocery stores to the full House for a final vote.
For folks in the state who are saying, we've waited long enough, that day is coming.
Bill sponsor John Lundberg has made it this far because lawmakers like Matthew Hill, who cast the deciding vote against the bill last year, are now on board.
Last year there was a real attempt to rush the bill through with no discussion, no debate, and no questions allowed.
This year's debate has created a lot of give and take for both grocery stores and liquor stores like the one Bard Quillman owns.
There's a lot of compromise in that bill.
Quillman says the key to final passage lies in keeping that compromise intact.
A concern that I have...
Even in this meeting, there were some who wanted to make small changes.
You start taking one part out of it, the whole thing's going to fall apart. I mean, it is a real compromise, and you've got to read it from page 1 to page 30.
A complex deal that is finally on a path. It just might force Kane to clear out some space for wine.
We'll definitely have to find a spot for it. Might have to take something out, something we don't sell as much of.
Sky Arnold, Fox 17 News.
Now, a few more details about this story. Communities would still have to vote in the affirmative to allow wine in grocery stores across the state, and that vote couldn't happen until next November. Even if it's approved, wine could not be sold in Tennessee grocery stores until the middle of 2016.
Cold temperatures create an unusual problem for folks in Chicago. Take a look at this. A water main burst, oh my goodness, on a street and sprayed water across the cars all the way down the road. Well, since it happened during sub-freezing temperatures, the water turned to ice, froze those cars right in place. People have been using shovels, ice picks, and even hot water to try to unfreeze their cars.
I think they get a little bit of help.
I think they're up a frozen creek without a paddle. What do you think?
I know. That's pretty terrible. We are going to be talking about our batch of winter weather as it moves in late tonight, more so into early Wednesday morning. However, I do think the problems for the Wednesday morning commute are going to be along the Tennessee and Alabama border. So not looking at much in the very early morning hours around the Nashville metro area, and really to even expand upon that, Nashville is not going to see the brunt of this storm. This is mainly going to be for communities east of I-65 and south of I-40, south and east of Nashville. And the further south and east you go, the better chance you have of these heavy pockets of snow moving in for tomorrow afternoon. But this is going to be the area of concern that brings us the accumulating snow and hazardous driving conditions. Now, that's not to say that Nashville won't see anything. I think we could find possibly a dusting up to 1 inch of snow, but we are on the low end where south and east will be looking at much more. Right now we're at 30 degrees. In fact, a mainly clear sky at the moment too, and a light wind out of the northeast bringing us a wind chill of 23 degrees. Here's a look at the satellite radar. Cloud cover starting to increase and thicken overnight ahead of this monster storm system that has formed in the Gulf. There is a lot of moisture coming out of the Gulf of Mexico here. It is going to interact with a piece of energy coming from the north to bring us these snow and sleet conditions for portions of Middle Tennessee. Now, we're already seeing snow in Arkansas, into Mississippi and Alabama. It just is not what we normally see. It's a little unusual just to see all this snow moving east. And this is round 2 of the first round we saw early this morning in northern Alabama. So as we track your next 24 to 48 hours, here's what I'm thinking. As we get through the very early part of Wednesday here, about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, we will find some snow showers right along the Tennessee and Alabama border. We move into the later part of the morning here, 9, 10 o'clock. It is still going to be south of Nashville. Again, we're right on the edge here in the Nashville metro area, but communities south and east will have the best bet for for this snow to accumulate in the form of 1 to 3 inches, most likely, and then even a little bit more snow possible south and east still. So you notice we're right on the edge of this, and I will say that a difference of 30 miles is going to make all the difference in the track of this system here. But I will say, too, that the models are coming in a little bit better agreement than what they were saying yesterday. So I do think we are going to be right on the edge here in Nashville. Then it's going to bring us a dusting up to about an inch as, again, we head off east to I-40 and then south of I-65. That's where we could be looking at the possibility of 1 to 3 inches and maybe even a little more as we head even further south. So here's a look at the map. Again, that dusting up to 1 inch in Nashville. Notice southern Kentucky, I don't think we're going to see much at all on the ground. Up to 1 inch possible for places like Columbia, Murfreesboro, right in between that 1 to 2 inch range. And as we get down towards McMinnville, Tullahoma, Crossville, could be looking at 2 to 5 inches. More on that 7-day forecast for you coming up in just a little bit.
That's going to be exciting. Thank you, Katie. Atlanta gets prepared for another ice storm. We'll see what they're doing to avoid a repeat of the deadly mess from 2 weeks ago.
And SEC Football Player of the Year Michael Sam comes out, and the former Titan is speaking out how the football headliner will be received in an NFL locker room. 2 weeks after a big winter storm in Atlanta created a deadly mess on the highways there, state and city officials say they are now ready for round 2.
CNN's Andrew Spencer shows us how folks are getting prepared for what is being called a historic storm.
Numerous stories flooded out of the Atlanta area 2 weeks ago of commuters stuck in traffic for 20 hours. People left with no option but to abandon their cars, and people stranded and sleeping on the floor of local businesses. This time, many of them aren't taking any chances.
Better to be safe than sorry.
The shelves of grocery stores cleared as people made a run on supplies, planning to spend the week stuck indoors.
Everything was already gone. There were no fruits, there were no veggies. It was kind of crazy.
And 2 weeks after just a few inches of snow brought one of the country's largest, most populated metro areas to a grinding halt, city and state officials aren't taking any chances either.
I'm not going to make any prejudgments. I think we're just going to get out here and flat out let our work speak for ourselves.
Governor Nathan Deal joined the media as he toured a Department of Transportation facility Monday, explaining some of what is going into the preparations.
We will not be treating every lane on the interstate. The goal will be to keep 2 lanes open and operational.
Crews are ready to brine, salt, and sand the roads when it's appropriate, but officials say timing is everything. The Georgia Highway Patrol is also telling truck drivers to stay out of Atlanta unless absolutely necessary and stick to the interstate loop around the city. Even Georgia Power is set up in its storm center, preparing for the worst ahead of this week's winter storms and hoping for the best. I'm Andrew Spencer reporting.
Titans fans remember Kevin Carter as the hard-charging defensive lineman who spent 4 of his 14 NFL seasons here in Nashville. Carter back in town tonight for a Go Red for Women event benefiting the fight against heart disease. Carter is also an excellent person to talk to about the hottest topic in football right now. Missouri defensive end Michael Sam coming out over the weekend and now poised to become the first openly gay NFL player after the draft in May. With Carter well-versed in the culture of pro football, we asked him how he thinks Sam will be received in an NFL locker room.
What does it really matter? I don't think anyone really, when you talk to the guys in the locker room, I don't think anyone's going to judge you by your sexual orientation. It's going to be whether or not you can do your job. There were people in our locker room that you can probably go back and on every team that you ever played on and said, yeah, that guy or this person or whatever. And ultimately, like I said, it didn't really matter.
Carter went on to say he thinks Sam is a phenomenal player. More on prospects with NFL dreams in less than 30 minutes. Plus, Tennessee tangling with the top 5. Highlights of Florida's visit to Thompson Bowling Arena.
I like the color a lot.
The color is right, but will the price be? In tonight's Saving You Money, how to get the prom outfit you really want without breaking the bank.
And Congress marches on toward more limits on what you can and can't do with your cell phone on an airplane.
We have seen probably more potholes this winter than we have in the past few years.
Pothole problems, how to protect not only your car, but also your pocketbook from taking a hit. New at 10.
That looks fantastic with our garnet pendant necklace. A necklace
With the price of this dress, the only necklace I'll be able to afford will be made out of candy.
Well, that movie clip shows the way many girls feel when shopping for a prom dress. But I'm saving you money tonight with a dress for less. If you don't have $500 sitting around to spend on a dress your daughter will wear just one time, there is help tonight at Murfreesboro Charity that's filling the gap by dressing girls in need.
Destiny Smith loves her dress.
I like the color a lot.
What makes her love it even more? The price was right. Free.
At the moment, we're having a little bit of an issue with money, but so it's like not having to spend like $700 on a dress helps out a lot.
The Murfreesboro 17-year-old.
Ooh, that's a pretty green.
Got the dress here from Archie's Promise, a nonprofit that's outfitted girls for prom for the last 6 years.
We have been doing this since 2009, and we've helped about 850 girls so far.
People donate their slightly used dresses. So do bridal shops and stores like JCPenney.
All these have the SKU number on them with the color and with the size.
And the girls whose families have fallen on hard times still get to feel like a princess for a night.
You have so many families that are just trying to make ends meet, but they still want to be able to provide for their child and have them to go to that special event that they might not be able to go to. So that's where we step in.
Archie's Promise gives the dresses for free.
I like the fabric.
To anyone on free and reduced lunch or whose parents are unemployed or disabled. It all culminates at Siegel High School in the borough the second Saturday in March.
It's grown so much that I just love what we do.
Well, you do have to show qualifying paperwork to get a free dress. Foster children also qualify. Now, if you don't meet the requirements for a free dress, Archie's Promise will sell you one for just $25. For more on the dress drive or how you can donate your own dress, go to fox17.com and click on Saving You Money.
Students here at Fairview High School made a special pact. It all led to a once-in-a-lifetime moment and happened behind these doors last night. On Fox 17's Megan O'Halloran. The story is in a live report.
Some local high school students deserve a big pat on the back for thinking of a fellow classmate. They successfully pulled off a secret plan helping a student with Down syndrome win a really special honor. Fox 17's Megan O'Halloran joins us live from Fairview High School tonight with this heartwarming story. Megan.
Well, we traditionally think of it as homecoming, but here the honor is called the Coming Home King and Queen. And how this all went down in these doors behind me last night was like something out of the movies.
The 2014 Coming Home King is Matthew Shaver.
It was a priceless moment that will go down in Fairview High School history.
Everybody just like erupted. I felt like the king of the school at that moment in time.
It's a title usually reserved for the most popular kids in school, and this year was no different. Matt Shaver has Down syndrome, but his classmates still consider him to be the big man on campus.
When you have a child with a disability, you wonder, are they going to be bullied all their life? Are they going to be treated right? And knowing that these kids have really stepped up.
Wow, you were the man of the hour here last night. Matt's still reveling in all the attention that comes with the crown. But little does he know, his classmates helped him win. They raised enough money for a local scholarship and gave Matt all the credit, which means he got all the votes. And as you can see, the excitement isn't wearing off.
I think we're setting a good example. I mean, the smallest things that you do for someone can have a big impact.
This all goes hand in hand with Fairview High School's anti-bullying campaign. We'll tell you about this new initiative coming up at 10. For now, we're live in Fairview. Megan O'Halloran, Fox 17 News.
Another round of winter weather on the way here, and I wanted to start off with some video of a beautiful afternoon that we ended up having for today. Yeah, a little bit chilly, but at least we saw that sunshine that was out and about for a little while, and still we're seeing that cloud cover thicken at this hour. Overnight, I think we'll be looking for the chance for some snowflakes falling south of Nashville. This is the timing of the winter weather, and I went ahead and put on some larger towns or cities so you get an idea of where this system is coming from. Along the Tennessee-Alabama border and just north of the border here, places like Lawrenceburg, Pulaski, you will be looking at some snowflakes as early as 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. And then a little bit further north, McMinnville, Columbia, looking at some snow by 9 o'clock, and then snow showers possible for Murfreesboro and Nashville. Although by noon here, I think Murfreesboro and Nashville are going to be on the very edge of this storm system here. Mainly south and east of Nashville is going to be where we are focused on for that heavier snow potential. Right now, we're sitting at 30 in Nashville. We're looking at 30 in Lebanon and Gallatin around 29. Hopkinsville right now at 20 degrees under this passing cloud cover. Now, overnight, the clouds will continue to thicken, and that will eventually bring in some of those snow showers. We're starting to see them already moving through Mississippi and Alabama. I've been watching reports come out of Arkansas, Mississippi. This is going to be another crippling snow and ice storm for the deep south, places like Atlanta, into the Carolinas, Columbia, South Carolina. We're going to be looking at Charlotte as a very problematic storm system here. Again, we're on the tail end of this. So over the next 24 hours, here's what I'm thinking. As we go through the overnight hours here, we'll start to see a few of those snowflakes right along the Tennessee-Alabama border. As we head through early Wednesday morning here, up until about 9, 10 o'clock, we'll be looking at some snow showers mainly south. Columbia, Lawrenceburg, Tullahoma, McMinnville, all seeing those snow showers here. Now, the model wants to bring in some rain because they want to warm temperatures all the way up into the 40s for tomorrow afternoon. There's another system coming in from the north, and I think that will make its way into Middle Tennessee in time for this to change over to stay as snow, I should say. So we are going to be looking at, I think, for a very sharp line where we see those snow showers and then better accumulating snow south and east of Nashville. As we go through Wednesday evening, we'll start to see this system slowly push out. So here's what I'm thinking as far as those snow totals go. Again, a sharp line here where dusting to no snow. In fact, Clarksville, I don't think we're going to see much on the ground at all. Maybe a few snow showers, that's about it. Up to a dusting here for Nashville, just south of Nashville, and in towards Murfreesboro, looking at about 1 to 2 inches, and then further south, that's going to be the sweet spot. McMinnville, Crossville, Tullahoma, looking at 2 to up to 5 inches as you head again further south and east. Quick look here, 7-day forecast, 35 for tomorrow. We're at 46 for Thursday. Valentine's Day, a slight chance of rain, 44. And then we get to some warmer weather here, mid-50s by Sunday, and Monday we are looking at the low 60s.
Can't wait for that. Thank you, Katie. Well, the winter weather we're having right now is doing a real number on our roads, and it's costing some of you hundreds of dollars in car repairs. Fox 17's Eric Alvarez is live in Metro Center now with a preview of a story that is all new tonight on Fox 17 News at 10.
Well, Scott, a lot of us drive by potholes every single day. Most of the time we can either avoid them or hit them and nothing happens. Then again, sometimes you have that unlucky driver that'll hit a pothole and either blow a tire or then have a problem with their alignment. Well, then what? Tonight on Fox 17 News at 10, I'll show you what local governments are doing about this pothole problem and what you can do if one of these hidden holes gets the better of your car. Reporting live in Metro Center, Eric Alvarez, Fox 17 News.
We start with college basketball in Knoxville. Florida bringing its unblemished SEC record into Thompson-Boling Arena for a rematch with the Vols. First meeting was no match. The Gators winning by 26 points. Seemed like it might be another blowout in the early stages tonight. Florida in blue. Scotty Wilbekin with the steal. He cruises the other way for the Bunny. The Gators scored 10 of the first 12 points of the game. They're feeling great. But later in the first half, off the wild shot by Florida, the Vols are running. Jordan McCray coast to coast. This is what you call a poster jam. McCray with 17 points tonight. Thompson-Boling Arena pumped. The Big Orange leading by 1 at the break. Second half, Jarnell Stokes with the basketball. Sweet move through the lane. Sweeping hook shot goes despite the foul. 20 points, 11 boards for Stokes. The Vols within 1. But Florida outscores them 12-4 down the stretch. Wilbekin doing the damage from deep. He scores a game-high 21 points. The Gators down Tennessee 67-58. They are now 11-0 in the SEC. Tomorrow night, Vanderbilt is on the road at South Carolina. The Gamecocks with only 1 win in conference this season. What about it, Coach?
They've lost, games in different fashions.
and close games and not so close games and home games and road games, but they've also shown that they're very capable. So it just comes down to executing and playing hard and doing things that we have to do in order to win games.
We'll see what happens tomorrow night. It's a 7 o'clock tip-off game. Will be broadcast on our sister station, MyTV 30. NFL dreams alive and well at D1 training in Franklin. Who's there and what they're hoping to get out of the experience.
I could hardly believe what I was being told because I had nothing had happened.
Class is in session at the D1 Training Center in Franklin. That's where more than a dozen former college football players are huddling up to fine-tune their skills on the gridiron. It's all about realizing NFL dreams. Former Commodores Carl Butler, Jonathan Krause, and Trey Wilson among the players here. Wilson is actually a year removed from his days with the black and gold, a leg injury cutting his rookie season with the Jaguars short, but he's eager for another try.
I'm a lot more relaxed, a lot more focused at the same time, though. So, I'm ready to get out there and, show that I can still contribute.
I just see it as another opportunity to prove myself to the scouts. So I don't really feel as if it's a lot of pressure on me. Obviously, it's a big deal to, obviously do good and everything, and that's what I'm hoping for, but I'm not like overwhelmed or anything.
Krause talking about Pro Day in March. Trey Wilson, seen here, will also be there for a second time. A couple of new assistants on Derek Mason's staff. Brett Maxey making the short move from the Titans to West End. Maxey is the Commodores' new defensive secondary coach, and Mark Lubick will handle the wide receivers. He worked on the Houston Texans staff the last 4 years and is the son of former Colorado State head coach Sonny Lubick. A Philip Pfeiffer update tonight. Over the weekend, we told you that the left-handed pitcher will not be a part of the Vandy baseball team this season because of personal reasons. Today, I asked head coach Tim Corbin if this is a private issue.
No, it's not a private issue. It's, he just didn't live up to the standards of behavior. So he's grounded. He's grounded for a year. It's kind of like a kid in your own family. But met with him a lot, talked with him a lot. I think he's in a good place right now, and keep him going and see if we can reevaluate the situation next year.
Life goes on without Pfeiffer. The Commodores getting set to head out west. They start their season at Long Beach State on Friday.
You're watching Fox 17 News at 10.
We are staying on top of breaking news in Antioch right now. That is where Metro Police are investigating an officer-involved shooting. Fox 17's Sky Arnold joins us live with more.
Well, guys, an hour ago we told you police had this road shut off. As you can see by the officer here who's allowing a resident to come out, the road is still shut off. They have crime scene tape up. In fact, quite a few folks have been arriving this evening, and they were told they had to park their vehicle and then walk in with a police escort. Of course, the road shut down because authorities are still conducting their investigation inside into a shooting that happened back there. Here's what we know about it at this point. It all began when the woman who lives in what neighbors say is Townhome 106 called police concerned about her mother, Pamela Hutcherson. Now, police tell us Hutcherson suffers from mental illness, and they say she threatened suicide and fired a shot at the family's dog inside. That's on the lower level. We're told there was a young child on the upper level inside the home at the time. Now, when two officers arrived, police say Hutcherson then pointed the gun at them, and that's when they opened fire, shooting her. She's now in critical condition at a local hospital. Now, we talked to a lot of residents who are out here this evening. One longtime resident who's been on the street for a while tells us this actually isn't the first time she's seen police called to this residence. And another woman told us that she's uncomfortable with the fact that there was a gun inside that home. We're live in Antioch. Sky Arnold, Fox 17 News.
Snow and sleet are already starting to stick to the roads in and around Atlanta. Snow is next, of course, quite a bit of it, and we could get some of that precipitation, the frozen variety, here in Middle Tennessee. The Georgia governors tonight declaring a state of emergency for 45 counties. The Fox 17 weather team is right now keeping an eye on just exactly how that storm is tracking into our area.
Our Skywatch chief meteorologist Katie Morgan joins us right now with what we can expect in the next 12 hours. Katie?
We are are right on the edge of the storm system here. So I think we are going to be looking at a little bit of snow here in Nashville, maybe up to a dusting, possibly 1 inch. But we could be looking at a lot more south and east of us. And that's where the winter storm warning is in effect. That is where the winter weather advisory is in effect. That goes from Wednesday morning into Thursday morning. So this is going to be a very impressive next 24 hours here. Again, right on the edge of the storm system through Atlanta into the Carolinas. They are looking at a historic ice storm that should be unfolding within the next 24 hours here. For us, it'll mainly be snow, and I'd say about a dusting possible in Nashville. Even though we are not highlighted here, we could still see, well, I'd say less than an inch of accumulation. So we're up to a dusting to a half inch or so of accumulation possible, but we're looking at maybe 1 to 3 as we head further south and east, and even more as we get into our winter storm warning that'll be in effect starting tomorrow morning. Now, right now, our satellite radar pictures showing that cloud cover is starting to roll in. We are dry for now, and I think we stay dry through very early tomorrow morning, beginning around 6, 7 o'clock along the Tennessee and Kentucky border, or Tennessee and Alabama border, I should say. That is going to be when we start to see some of the snowflakes fly, and all of that then will head north throughout the afternoon hours. Check out the monster storm system here moving through Arkansas, Texas, Mississippi. We are going to be looking at quite a storm here to roll through. Again, we're right on the edge of it. So how much am I thinking? Well, again, a couple inches will be possible as we head further south and east. Temperatures now sitting in the 30s. Check this out. This is how much snow I think some of our larger towns and communities will see. Hopkinsville, Clarksville, Nashville, a dusting up to 1 inch possible. 1 to 2 inches for places like Lawrenceburg, Cookeville, Murfreesboro, and 2 to 4 plus for Shelbyville, Tullahoma, and McMinnville. We've got a detailed map and a track of that forecast for you coming up in my next Skywatch forecast.
Potholes causing big problems on Tennessee roadways this winter. TDOT says crews fix more than 50 of them every single day.
Well, they're busy, but even with all the work being done, if you're not careful, one of those pits could end up hitting your car and costing you a lot of money. Fox 17's Eric Alvarez is live right now in Metro Center to tell us how to avoid the potholes and if you hit one, what you should do.
Well, Scott, Stacy, a lot of us see potholes on our way around town every single day. Now, most of the time we hit them and nothing really happens. But I wanted to show you, this is the physics behind a pothole. And if you hit it the wrong way, this can dislodge. It can actually even bump up into your car, causing hundreds or even thousands of dollars in damages. Now, that's why earlier today I hit these mid-state roads to find out what's being done about this pothole problem. We are now leaving the station and going out in search of potholes.
That didn't take long. I hit one less than 2 miles away. It turns out potholes are popping up everywhere in Middle Tennessee, and TDOT says freezing temperatures are to blame.
We have seen probably more potholes this winter than we have in the past few years.
Here's how it works. When moisture in the soil freezes, the ground expands, pushing the pavement up. Then, under the weight of traffic, the pavement crumbles and pops out. I dodged several potholes en route to Bailey's Wrecker Service in East Nashville, where Randy Hall says potholes are leading to more and more roadside assistance calls.
You can blow the tires out, you can break tie rods, ball joints, bend the wheels.
And those holes in the ground can lead to a hole in your bank account.
$100 or so, up to a couple of thousand, depending on what damage gets done to your car.
Back in Metro Center, it's getting dark. And when potholes are harder to see, drivers like Melinda Dale start worrying what those hidden holes can do to their cars.
I know that if you go over too many of them or go over them too hard, that it could get things out of whack.
Now, a lot of times when you hit a pothole, your insurance will pay for the damages, but if not, you can file a complaint with your local government or the State Department of the Treasury. However, you're not likely to get reimbursed unless you can prove that local agency took too long to fix that pothole. So for the time being, it's best to just be careful and try to avoid hitting one of these. Reporting live in Metro Center, Eric Alvarez, Fox 17 News.
We are learning more tonight about the victims of the deadly explosion last night in Wilson County. A retired attorney was killed in that blast and his wife was critically injured.
As investigators try to figure out who sent the deadly package, friends are remembering John Setzer and praying for his wife, Mary Ann. Fox 17's Erica Lathan joins us live from Lebanon with the very latest tonight. Erica.
Well, Scott and Stacy, that explosion occurred here on Vance Lane at the home you see behind me, and you can see on the mailbox the crime scene tape is still here. And in fact, police officers are guarding this house 24 hours a day now. Investigators say a package was delivered to the home Monday evening when it exploded. John Setzer was killed, his wife Marion critically injured and transported to Vanderbilt Medical Center. Friends say John was a retired Nashville attorney. He and his wife moved to Lebanon several years ago and were a big part of their church family.
They've been here a few years, retired attorney and his wife, and they've really been involved and active in the church since they've been here. Marion always seemed to have a smile on her face, very soft word for everybody. John was a Sunday school teacher, taught in his Sunday school class. So I don't get it. I don't get it.
An $8,000 reward is being offered for information leading to an arrest in this case. If you know anything, you're urged to call 1-800-TBI-FIND. In the meantime, many of the residents here are shaken up by this. My colleague John Dunn spoke to several of them. Several neighbors say they're even afraid to open their own mailboxes tonight.
No one would have ever dreamt that this could have happened.
The sight of several dozen law enforcement vehicles is not only unusual, but unheard of on Vance Lane.
This is not the place for this kind of thing to take place.
On a road where sheep and cows occasionally create excitement by getting out of fences, a deadly explosion is implausible. Everyone wants to know why.
Why does anyone target anybody? I don't know. It's crazy.
Neighbors have been told the Setzers received a package in the mail which blew up inside their home. For some, the thought of checking their own mailboxes is now frightening.
And of course, it makes us a little anxious to go check our own mailbox when we see something like this happen, because normally boxes are delivered, mail's delivered, you don't question it.
Neighbors tell Fox 17 News officers went by each home Monday night and checked their mailboxes for devices. Tony Dedman says it's a lesson to be on guard.
The world around us keeps changing and it's moving faster, and things like this are much more prevalent, it seems.
That was a huge explosion.
Other than wondering why someone would send an explosive device, the other question many are asking is, will the bomber strike again?
The sanctity of living out here and the wonderful place for children has been scarred in some way by this tragic event.
In Wilson County, John Dunn, Fox 17 News.
Well, neighbors tell us that the Setzers were quiet, loving people who loved God and would do anything to help others. No one seems to know why anyone would want to hurt them. Just an hour ago, Fox 17 News spoke exclusively with Setzer's former longtime law partner, that is, George Cate Jr. The two practiced together in West Nashville from 1979 to 1991. Cate met Setzer in the Army. Cate was shocked to hear the news, and he remembers Setzer as very optimistic and a dedicated servant.
John and Marion were a remarkable pair. They were active in community affairs, very active in church affairs.
Well, Setzer was known for holding seminars around town to help folks make the best decisions for their living trusts. Friends tell us that Setzer's health had declined in recent years, and something most folks don't know is that Setzer was a lay Methodist preacher in Watertown. His wife Marion was a dental assistant. You can watch the full interview by going to fox17.com and clicking on Raw News. We will bring you the very latest information on this explosion as the investigation unfolds online at fox17.com. For immediate details sent straight to your phone, you can text news to 45203.
The father of an 8-week-old girl who died in early January is tonight charged with murder. Authorities arrested Robert Jasper and the baby's mother, Jenny Gregory, today in Sumner County. The father called 911 last month and said that his daughter was having trouble breathing. Doctors, after examining the child, found old bruises, swelling on the eyes, and severe brain injury. Jasper is now charged with first-degree murder, aggravated child abuse, and neglect. The wife, the mother I should say, Gregory, is charged with child abuse and neglect. neglect. We now know a little more about the man who was found dead inside his Murfreesboro apartment yesterday. Michael Shakir would have turned 21 in April. Officers originally responded to a burglary call at Shakir's apartment on Bradyville Pike. Officers are now treating this case as a murder investigation. Anyone with information is urged to call Murfreesboro Police 615-893-2717.
Well, a bill that would let communities vote on allowing wine in grocery stores is one vote away from finally passing. The State House Committee approved the bill this evening, sending it to the full House for a final vote next week. The bill has already passed the Senate. So this is the first time a wine bill has made it out of committee and to the full House. Significant here. Communities would still need to vote to approve wine in grocery stores, and that vote would happen next November. If approved, wine won't be allowed here until mid-2016.
A new delay tonight for health care reform, the long-term effects that it could have on the law itself.
The entire school backing one kid, the story of a local boy with a special need who is defying the odds. New information on the Affordable Care Act. Medium-sized companies are no longer required to offer full-time employees insurance until 2016.
Fox 17's national correspondent Christine Frizzell now to tell us how this new delay affects the long-term health of the law itself.
It's being touted by the Obama administration as a break for businesses, an attempt to make for a smoother transition for companies with between 50 and 99 employees. Jay Angoff, the former head of implementation of the Affordable Care Act with the Department of Health and Human Services, said it could result in a win-win situation.
People who businesses would otherwise be required to buy insurance for will have to buy insurance in the individual market, and many of these people are going to be young people in good health.
But Angoff is also critical of the decision, calling it unnecessary.
Well, I think the administration has bent over backwards to satisfy business.
As an attorney, he also isn't sure the delay is legal under the Constitution, a sentiment echoed by many members of Congress.
So if he wants to get them changed, he needs to come to Congress and make his case to Congress. But he has no authority to continue implementing the rest of the law as he feels like it.
That decision, announced Monday, also gave some help to larger businesses. Instead of requiring them to provide benefits for 95% of their full-time workers, they've lowered that to 70%. Also until 2016. For other opponents of the affordable health care law, like Joe Antos with the American Enterprise Institute, it's yet another indication that the law is fundamentally flawed.
There are a lot of things that just weren't thought through and are now being thought through by necessity, because people who were affected are finally waking up and saying, hey, wait a minute, this isn't going to work for us.
Antos believes the move is mostly political, but may also signify something deeper.
I think this is the beginning of the end of the employer mandate.
I'm Christine Frizzell, Fox 17 News.
School bullying, we hear about it all the time. We are seeing quite the opposite, though, at one Williamson County school, all thanks to a new campaign, and it is working. Fox 17's Megan O'Halloran joining us live from Fairview High School to explain tonight. Be nice, Megan. You are nice.
I know. Well, Stacy, check out these signs. They are actually hanging up inside the hallways and inside classrooms here at Fairview High School. It's all part of the Be Nice campaign. And guess what? Students here, they're really getting the message. In fact, the most recent act of kindness happened here just last night. Students got together, they made a pact, and for weeks they raised enough money and votes to help Matt Shaver win the crown and the title of what's called the Coming Home King. Matt has Down syndrome, but his classmates don't see him any differently.
This happens every day in our hallways. Our kids are unbelievable at being kind to students who are different and doing it on an everyday.
Some powerful moments have come out of the Be Nice campaign, and it really is changing the way these students interact with each other and the world around them. And you know, these students, they show up here every day, they walk into school, they take reading, writing, and math classes, but the school is trying to take learning beyond that. And as you can see, students are learning more about what's really important, making a difference. We're live in Fairview. Megan O'Halloran, Fox 17 News.
Well, I just got some interesting information via social media here. The hurricane hunters normally go out and do recon on those big hurricanes out in the middle of the Atlantic to gather important and vital information. They are out flying this evening over the winter storm to help improve model forecasts. You know, you've been hearing me talk about the past 24 to even 48 hours. These models have been not agreeing with each other as to what kind of precipitation we want, how much precipitation is going to be moving in, and we have the hurricane hunters out doing some winter recon on the storm system. Pretty interesting. It may impact the model forecast going into tomorrow morning, which is a good reminder for you to stay tuned tomorrow morning. Get the latest updates. Meteorologist Craig Edwards and meteorologist Barak Shapiro will be in with the latest. Here's what we're seeing right now. The winter storm warning in effect, all in pink here. Looking at a historic ice storm for Georgia and the Carolinas. We're on the fringe of the system, so the purple indicating a winter weather advisory. We could be looking at 1, possibly 2 inches of snow by tomorrow evening. Right now, passing clouds is what we are looking at. You can see the monster storm, though, moving through Louisiana, Arkansas, Mississippi, and Alabama. I think we are looking at snow showers along the Tennessee-Alabama border as early as 6, 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. Notice the model here, our in-house model, keeps a lot of the precipitation south and east of Nashville. This is by 9 o'clock tomorrow morning here, snow showers developing. It also wants to change it over to a rain. I think we will stay cold enough where we will see snow showers even as far north as Nashville. Nashville only getting a dusting up to maybe a ½ inch of precipitation on the ground, the snowfall. Further south and east, that is going to be the area of concern where we're looking at the possibility of 1, maybe 3 inches of snow. By 8 o'clock, you can see most of the system is clearing out, and we'll look for clearing skies as we head through the evening hours. So how much are we talking? Again, a dusting around the Nashville area, but as you head further south and east, we'll start to increase those snow totals. 1 inch to 1 to 2 inches in Murfreesboro, Columbia, Lawrenceburg, McMinnville, Tullahoma, Crossville could be looking at 2 to 4 with pockets of 5 inches possible, and possibly even more as you get out towards eastern Tennessee. So again, we're right on the edge of the system here, and a 30-mile difference shift in the track here could totally change the forecast. So again, a good reason to stay tuned for the latest tomorrow with meteorologist Craig Edwards. Here's a look at your forecast, your 7-day now. Valentine's Day not looking too bad. A couple showers possible. 44 our temperature here. Big warm up coming in by the beginning of next week. 56 on Sunday. How about the 60s for you? That coming in on Monday.
New warnings tonight for electronic cigarette users coming from the Tennessee Department of Health.
Famous actor Shirley Temple dies. The legacy America's sweetheart leaves behind.
State Department of Health tonight issuing a health warning about electronic cigarettes. The department says that the companies that make these electronic cigarettes are not currently regulated by any state or federal agency. The emissions, they say, are not just water vapor, but contain nicotine, formaldehyde, and other chemicals. Nicotine, of course, is a highly addictive and toxic chemical. Also, this is important, the FDA has not yet approved these, and there's not enough scientific information about their effects.
Several Americans are remembering the well-known and liked Shirley Temple Black, who has died. Family spokesman says that Temple passed away at her home in California yesterday from natural causes. In her 30-year career, the curly-haired Temple starred in films like Bright Eyes and Curly Top. She then served as a U.S. ambassador to Ghana and Czechoslovakia. Temple died at 85 years old.
Tennessee tangling with the top 5 basketball team tonight. Highlights of Florida's visit to Knoxville and Thompson-Boling Arena.
We start with college basketball in Knoxville. Florida bringing its unblemished SEC record into Thompson-Boling Arena for a rematch with the Vols. The first meeting, no match. The Gators winning by 26 points. Seemed like it might be another blowout in the early stages. Florida in blue. Scotty Wilbekin with the steal. Cruz is in the other way for the Bunny. The Gators scoring 10 of the first 12 points of the game. They think they have this one. But later in the first half, off the wild shot, the Vols are running. Jordan McRae, coast to coast. This is what you call a poster jam. McRae with 17 points tonight. Thompson-Boling pumped. The Big Orange leading by 1 at the break. Second half, Jarnell Stokes with a sweet move here for Tennessee through the lane. The extended hook shot goes despite the foul. 20 points and 11 boards for Stokes. The Vols are within 1, but Florida outscores them 12-4 down the stretch. Wilbekin doing the damage from deep. He scores a game-high 21 points. The Gators down Tennessee 67-58. They are now 11-0 in the SEC. Tomorrow night, Vanderbilt is on the road at South Carolina. The Gamecocks with only 1 win in conference this season. What about it, Coach?
They've lost, games in different fashions, and close games and not so close games, and home games and road games, but they've also shown that they're very capable. So it just comes down to executing and playing hard and doing things that we have to do in order to win games.
We'll see what happens tomorrow night. It's a 7 o'clock tip-off. The game will be broadcast on our sister station, MyTV30. And former Titan Kevin Carter taking part in the Red for Women event tonight in Nashville, which gave us the chance to talk to him about the hottest topic in football right now. Missouri defensive end Michael Sam coming out over the weekend and now poised to become the first openly gay NFL player after the draft in May. With Carter well-versed in the culture of pro football, we asked him how he thinks Sam will be received in an NFL locker room.
What does it really matter? I don't think anyone really, when you talk to the guys in the locker room, I don't think anyone's going to judge you by your sexual orientation. It's going to be whether or not you can do your job. There were people in our locker room that you can probably go back and on every team that you ever played on and said, yeah, that guy or this person or whatever. And ultimately, like I said, it didn't really matter.
And Carter adding that he thinks Sam is a phenomenal talent. We'll see what the general managers in the NFL think of Michael Sam.
Be interesting to see what happens on draft day. SEC Player of the Year.
Yep, co-defensive player of the year in the SEC. Pretty nice resume.
Pretty good.
All right. What's really going to be interesting is to see what happens with this weather tomorrow.
You know, I'm very interested to see how that'll shape up as well.
Pretty bad.
Yes. Well, here's what I'm currently thinking right now. A dusting up to about a half-inch possible around the Nashville metro area. But again, south and east is going to be our area of concern. That's where we could find hazardous travel conditions, mainly Wednesday afternoon and then Wednesday evening. So if you are planning on doing some traveling along I-40 East or I-65 South, it is going to be troublesome for much of Wednesday here, but a good 2-3 inches for portions of our viewing area.
Wow.
And then you're getting into 4 inches as you head into eastern Tennessee, 5 inches possible.
Paul and I just want you to know we're not scared. We are not scared.
I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be able to make it to work tomorrow.
He's already got it planned.
Just planning to see.
We'll
Thanks
come
for
pick you up,
watching
Paul.
the latest on Fox 17 this morning.
Good night.